What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I'm going to share with you guys this is pretty good news. Okay, we're going to talk about the 5 myths, the most popular myths that you hear about Social Security, and I'm going to debunk all 5 of them in this video. But first off, if you guys can do me a favor, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you'll get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification, clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. And just a reminder, thank you for your support. I really appreciate it. And if you'd like to follow us on Twitter and Threads, you can at the TEC Show Live. You can also join our membership where you get customized emojis as well as custom badges. And then also consider signing our petition to increase Social Security benefits. All you need to do is hit that little barcode. Just turn on your camera, turn your phone on, turn your camera on your phone, and then hover over the barcode. You'll have a link. Click the link and go over and sign the petition. Okay, so let's get to the 5 myths. Now, I hear these all the time. Every time I post a video, I'll have people asking me different things. And the Washington Post wrote an article, and they actually covered these same myths. So I thought it was interesting because I see these in the comments all the time, and they covered it. So we're going to talk about it. So the first myth, Social Security is going bankrupt. That's the first myth. We hear this all the time. Social Security is going bankrupt. And then the argument is, no, Social Security is not going bankrupt. The trust fund is going bankrupt, or the trust fund is going to be insolvent. So let me explain to you how Social Security works if you don't know. So when it comes to Social Security is funded by the payroll contribution, better known as FICA, what a lot of people know as a tax, the payroll tax. But it is a contribution. When you're working, you're contributing. When you retire, someone else that's working is contributing to your benefits. That's the way that it works. And so as long as we have people in the workforce, which I would imagine that we will always have people in the workforce, but as long as we have people in the workforce, they are contributing through FICA. And that money is going out to people who are currently receiving benefits. Now, there is a problem when it comes to the trust fund, because in the past, we had enough money coming through FICA where we had a surplus. And that surplus was invested in Treasury bonds, and now it's sitting there. It's about $2.7 trillion. But the problem is, with FICA right now, we don't have as strong as a workforce as we did in the past. So we don't have as many people working as we did in the past. And so the FICA contribution right now is not enough to pay out benefits at 100%. And so what we're doing is we're taking money from FICA, we're paying out as much as we can from FICA, and then they're drawing from that trust fund. And so they're saying by 2035, the trust fund will run out of money. The trust fund only, but we'll still have people in the workforce, we'll still have people working, but we're not going to be able to pay out at 100%. It would be more like 79, 78, 77%. That's what we would be looking at. So that would mean a reduction to people receiving Social Security benefits of about 23%. But Social Security will still be around. Now, the good news when it comes to this is Congress can act. Congress can actually change this, so we'll have people able to receive Social Security benefits at 100%, but they just need to make that move. And I talk about that all the time on this channel, the fact that Congress needs to move forward with a proposal to reform Social Security. They have the time. They know this is going to be an issue, so they need to address it. But the bottom line is Social Security is not going bankrupt. So if you are in your 20s right now and you're thinking, well, Social Security won't be there for me, yes, it will be. It will not go bankrupt. It will still be there. It might be reduced if Congress doesn't act, but we will still have Social Security. And that goes to the second myth. Young adults will not receive Social Security benefits. This is something that we also hear. And this is something I blame politicians. I actually blame politicians for a lot of this because they put out this information. You have some politicians that want to do away with Social Security, and they're putting out this information to try to mislead you so we can get rid of Social Security, so we can privatize Social Security. And so what do you hear a lot? You hear them saying, well, it's not going to be there for you. Social Security won't be there for you, so why are you contributing to it? And then young people start to think like that. Why am I contributing to the payroll contribution if I'm not going to be able to receive Social Security benefits when I retire? That is absolutely not true. Just like I said in myth 1, when it comes to the payroll contribution, as long as we have people in the workforce, there will be money to pay out benefits. Now, it might not be 100%. That's the issue, but you will still receive something when it comes to Social Security benefits. Myth number 3, a shortfall makes collecting Social Security early a wiser move. So you have some people that are thinking, well, you know what? If we're looking at Social Security and we know in 11 years or 10 to 11 years that the trust fund will run out of money, so we're going to be looking at a 23% cut, I might as well start collecting early. That way I can get those years in where I'm receiving 100% in benefits. Well, let's just look at it this way. Social Security, what do they say about Social Security? It's the third rail of politics. Politicians are not going to let Social Security go by the wayside. They are going to reform Social Security. It's just going to take some time. I would prefer that they do it sooner than later, but they will reform Social Security, so that's not going to be the issue. So thinking, well, let me try to collect early, that way I'll be able to receive these years where I'm getting 100% in my benefits, that's probably not going to be the best way to go, because the earlier you collect, if you don't wait till your full retirement age and you collect early, you're going to see a reduction anyway. If you collect at 62 and you don't wait till 67, that's about a 30% cut in your benefits. And that's for the rest of your life. So if you can wait, it would probably be better for you to go ahead and wait until you're 67 and then collect at your full retirement benefits. And don't worry about the fact that you have politicians right now saying, well, there'll be a 23% cut if we don't act. They will act. They will do something to reform Social Security. Now, it might not be what everyone wants, because what I'm hearing is you have some lawmakers that want to raise the full retirement age. Now, they would gradually do that. So if you're close to retiring right now, it's probably not going to impact you. But nonetheless, they're talking about raising that full retirement age. So that's something that's concerning, but that doesn't mean that that's what's going to happen. They will reform Social Security. They'll probably need to pull in more revenue, which means that they're probably going to need to raise the FICA contribution, raise it on wealthy people, or raise it across the board for everyone, but they will reform Social Security. Myth number 4. The federal government has raided the Social Security Trust Fund. I hear this all the time, that Congress has taken the money. They need to pay that money back that they've taken. That is not true, okay? And I've tried to say this over and over again. And the best way to think about it is like this, and this might be where the confusion comes in. Let's say you open up a banking account. Let's say your savings. And you put $2,000 in your savings. Do you get that same $2,000 back from your savings? No, you don't. Now, it's backed by FDIC, so it's guaranteed that you'll be able to get your $2,000 when you want to get your $2,000, but it's not the same dollars that you put in, okay? It's not the same exact money. The bank takes that money and invests the money. And so we have that same system when it comes to the trust fund. When you have that money, the treasury bonds, it's being invested. But then when you want to get it, it's backed, fully backed. When you want to get it, you're going to be able to pull it out, okay? So that's what the Social Security Administration is doing. They're pulling it out to offset. And so basically you have that payroll contribution. So you have people who are working. They're paying into the payroll contribution. That money's going into the trust fund, and then it's coming down and paying out benefits, okay? That is the way the system works. Congress is not going in there and just taking money from the trust fund. That's not what's going on. And then the other thing that you hear all the time, and I mentioned it already, Congress, they make the statement, Congress needs to pay it back. Well, guess what? That's our money. So if Congress is paying it back, they're just taking our tax dollars and paying it back, if that were the situation. But that isn't the situation. But I hear that argument like Congress needs to pay it back. Do you realize that Congress's wallet comes from the American people? Okay, so it's not, Congress doesn't have a stash of money sitting somewhere. Congress is us. We're the ones that are funding Congress. We're the ones that should be represented by Congress people, but the money would be coming from us. So if you say, yeah, Congress needs to pay it back, okay, well, that means that the American people need to pay it back. But I just want to state this again. That is not our current situation. The trust fund is not, Congress is not taking money out of the trust fund. That money is being invested in bonds, and that money is there for us, and that's why they're drawing on that $2.7 trillion now in order to help out with paying out benefits. Okay, myth number 5. Members of Congress don't pay Social Security taxes. Okay, so, and I've heard this as well. People say, well, Congress, these politicians, they don't care. They don't care because they don't pay into the payroll contribution. Well, they do pay into the payroll contribution. Since 1984, they've had to pay into the payroll contribution. So they are not exempt. And the only way they'd be exempt is if they go over that threshold of $168,600, which most of them do because their salary is $174,000. So they're over that threshold, but they pay up to $168,600. They're paying into that payroll contribution. Anything over that, they no longer have to pay into the payroll contribution. So they're contributing $168,600 to Social Security. Now, you do have some lawmakers that want to change that. They want to raise the cap, so people who are making over $168,600 could start paying into the payroll contribution again. But in a lot of situations, they have a donut. They call it a donut. So basically, they're saying if you make between $168,000 and $250,000, or $168,600 and $400,000, you don't have to pay into that payroll contribution until you hit that benchmark. So until you hit $250,000 or more, or until you hit $400,000 or more. And there are different proposals that are out there that do different things. The most common is probably making over $400,000. So if you're making over $400,000, then you'll have to start paying into the payroll contribution again. And so in a nutshell, what they're saying is if you make $168,600, you stop paying into the payroll contribution until you hit $400,000, and then you have to pay into the payroll contribution again. So Congress does contribute. Now, not everyone contributes. There are civil service jobs where you don't contribute. So if you're working in law enforcement, fire, teachers, in certain situations, you might not be contributing to Social Security. You're not earning points. You're not going to be able to collect Social Security benefits when you retire, but you're paying into a pension. And then when you retire, you're living off your pension. So there are some jobs that are out there, but they're generally state and local government jobs. They're not the federal government. The federal government changed their system, so now everyone does contribute to the payroll contribution. So that's all I have for this video. If you guys have any questions, let me know in the comments below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more, and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.